So this Christmas, you may be wondering how you can give your kids a little something more than a gift to unwrap.
Now, we're talking about how to make your kids rich, or at least add a little bit more money to their pockets, right? So here to share her top tips with us this morning, business growth expert and author of The 9% Edge, Candy Valentino. Candy, good morning to you.
Yes.
Thank you for being here.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Sure thing.
So what are some financial gifts we can give our kids or maybe grandkids this Christmas?
Great. So first off, it's really important to understand that all of the wealth habits that make us rich in our lifetime are not things that we are actually taught, and kids will catch things in your environment. So making sure that we teach our kids how to be investors and not consumers, making sure that they understand that they don't necessarily want that latest toy. It might be better to invest in the stock, and we can talk about some examples of that. But the very first thing to do is making sure that you are having these great conversations with your kids, because they are picking up what you're talking about. And we can get into the 25, or whatever other pieces of information that you want, but it first starts with the conversation.
Okay, so let's dive into this one a little bit more, and we'll get to the 50-25-25 rule here in just a second, Candy. But talk to us. There's something called custodial Roth ARA, or IRA.
IRA.
What is that?
Of course. The custodial Roth IRA is something that you can set up for your kids even though they're not 18. So a traditional Roth IRA, you need to be 18 to contribute into, but parents can set up a custodial Roth IRA, meaning that you can start investing for your kids the day that they're born. You can start putting in money. If you have a business, even, you can put your kids on payroll. You can take that income out and you can start investing it. And we have found over time that if you start this, even if you don't invest another dollar into this account when they turn 18, they will have over $2 million in just basic rates of retirement. They will have over $2 million when they go to retire. So that's a tactic that parents can do now, especially if you're a small business owner, that you can start maxing that out and open up a custodial Roth IRA. And if that doesn't work for you, you can still start with a high yield savings account and start stashing that cash in there. And then, of course, moving it over and setting it up and forgetting it. There's great apps like Acorns and other different things that you can set up for your kids, Greenlight, in order to help them start investing and developing that discipline at a young age.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so what is the 50-25-25 rule?
This is something that everyone can implement right away, and it teaches kids how to live with money when they're adults, because as much as we would love to keep 100% of every dollar that we earn, nobody gets to do that. So the 50-25-25 basically says if your kids get $100 for Christmas or their birthday, that they can only spend 50% of that. That 25% of it they need to invest. So if they really if your daughter loves Frappuccinos at Starbucks, maybe she gets to spend 50% of that how she chooses, but 25% of that she's going to invest in whatever that she chooses. It may be McDonald's, it may be Starbucks, whatever they're into. And then 25% of that, you're going to give them the gift of understanding contribution, because there is a huge tie with wealth and contribution, and making sure that they have gratitude for what they have, that they are donating to a charity that they care about, or maybe their church, and making sure that they understand the gift of contribution and how that will set them up for success in their adult life as well. So 50% they can spend, 25% they invest, and 25% they give away.
I like that.
Spend, invest, give away. Okay, so those are the three areas there. And I love that, because I think when you start at a young age, like you said, those things carry when you make sure that you're instilling that in them. So when we talk about a legacy of wealth, though, look, money, I feel like everywhere right now is tight and everybody's worried about it. So how can people, Candy, leave a legacy of wealth for their children?
Well, it really goes into financial education, right? Because we can make more money, right? We can, personal finance 101, we increase our income, we reduce our expenses, and we bridge the gap in order to start to invest more. Because until we start to invest in cash flowing assets, we will always be stuck trading time for money. That's how the generational wealth, the Forbes Richest 400, have really set themselves up and their family up. So if you're not in a position where you have a high net worth in order to leave your kids a lot of assets, well, then the best gift that you can give them is them understanding hard work, that they understand the value of a dollar, that they understand contribution. They understand how to invest into their future, because if you can't invest 15% of what you're earning right now, you're actually robbing from your future and you're overspending. It's the #1 litmus test that we can tell if somebody is overspending. So the biggest gift you can give your kids is for them to understand finances so that they can make good decisions, so they don't get into credit card debt, so they don't buy brand new cars that they can't afford. That is what's going to help them set them up for success. So because wealth is a habit. So once we have more money, we know that whatever we did with a little bit of money are the same habits we are going to develop when we have a lot of money. It's just going to be amplified, which is why you want to invest now and donate now as well.
Oh, that's great. And I feel like we're into that season right now, heading into the holidays, where we all kind of overspend, we panic buy. Any tips to help everyone in the family out?
Yeah. So, I mean, one of the things that I have found that has helped a lot of families is making sure that you get really clear with your budget. Sounds super boring, but the boring stuff is actually what works in personal finance. So get a budget, get really clear, and identify what you're going to spend. Also, because a lot of people are really struggling right now, it's very real. Cost of goods are up all over, and people don't have enough money to just pay their normal bills. They're depleting any savings that they had just to put food on the table. So make sure that you know that you can have permission. I'm going to grant everyone here permission, every female that's watching that has a little bit of guilt about this, or even dads that have some dad guilt. You do not need to participate in every gift exchange, every single thing that you do. You can say no, because the thing about finance is we have to be willing to say a no to a few things now so that we can get the ability to say yes to a lot of things later. So you may not be able to say no to everything, but another thing to think about is, can you pull your money together? Can you work with maybe the grandparents or the aunts and the uncles and actually go in on one gift together as opposed to everyone buying gifts? Yeah. Something we do in my family, the aunts and uncles don't buy the nieces and nephews gifts because their parents do and the grandparents do, and all it is just exchanging all of these gifts. So we just made a decision, no one's going to do that. The parents and the grandparents do it. Takes off a lot of pressure, makes the holidays a little more fun, and you don't have to blow your budget in the process.
Yeah, that is great too. Great ideas.
I know. I have learned so much in this. I hope everyone else has too, because I always say I'm going to get better about my finances each and every year, and I feel like a lot of us do, and we just keep putting that off. Candy, before we let you go, I feel like we can learn a lot more from reading your book too, 9% Edge. Tell us a little bit about it, some of the financial advice you give us, and where we can find it.
Yeah, so if you don't have a business, Wealth Habits is my first book. If you do have a business, small business, or you want to start one, the 9% Edge is the life-changing secrets of how to create more revenue and how to create more freedom. So anywhere books are sold, and of course, I also have a podcast, The Candy Valentino Show. If you are in a financial position that you can't do some of these things, or you can't even purchase a book right now, download the podcast. I give free advice every single week, Mondays and Thursdays, that you can just consume on topics just like this, how to make more money in your business, in your life, and really how to create that rich life.
This has been a great conversation, Candy.
Right?
Thanks so much for sharing this with us.
Oh, thanks for having me. My pleasure.
Yes, we appreciate it. Thank you. Hey, coming